Hello and welcome to Karibuni Jikoni. This is Let Me Cook Your Dish. My name is Chef Carol, and today I have an amazing lady, Yetunde Odebiyi. I'm so honored to have this lady here. I met her last year, and talking to her, I was so inspired by her story. I was so amazed by the strength she has, and being able to, conquer cancer, being a mother of three small children at a time. Welcome, Yetunde.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning,
Morning.
as you say.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you here, Yetunde. And for those wondering, I had my fingers, so I won't be doing a lot of cooking today, but that is not a problem because I am using Yetunde's book, and in her book she has very nice recipes of things that don't require to be cooked. So I'll be doing a nice smoothie. So Yetunde, I always thought you were born in Nigeria, but I saw that you were born in Scotland.
Yes, I was. Yes.
Uh,
I,
yeah.
I was born in Scotland in the middle 60s because my parents came to study. And
Mm-hmm.
my dad was at St. Andrews University studying civil engineering. And my
Mm-hmm.
mom was at Jordan Hill College of Education. She was the first Black student in that school. And I came along while they had
Wow.
finished studying and they were working. So I came along
Yeah.
then.
Okay. Did you go back to Nigeria, or have you been living in the UK since then?
No, we went back to Nigeria when I was 2, and my
Okay.
parents decided to go back as the Civil War started because they had finished their education, they had got some work experience, and they wanted to go
Mm,
home. All Africans did that in the 60s. They finished studying and they went home. So I went back to
yeah.
Nigeria for 18 years and came back for 16 years, came back when I was 18, actually.
Okay. So you were there. You did your schooling there, and then came back when
Yes.
you were.
Mm.
Okay. And you also have a Kenyan name, Akinyi. How did how did you get that?
Hmm. Right. Kenya was christened this name by Elizabeth Holloman, who is my mentor and a very good sister of mine. We were
Oh
in
yeah.
business together. A couple of years ago, we started an organization called Soplixu, and it was made up of me just being the only Nigerian and a couple of Kenyan ladies in Europe and also back in Kenya. So one day
Mm-hmm.
we're having a meeting and
Yeah.
somebody just said, "Oh, we're christening her Akinyi then." And I love that name. And I went to go and find out what it meant because I love to find out about names. And I found I was born in the morning. I thought, oh, I'll
Mm,
receive that, even though I was born in the afternoon. But I love the name. So, and
yeah.
it's a Luo name. So I'm
Yeah.
honored to
It's a
have a
Luo
Kenyan
name.
name. Honored to have a Kenyan name. I am.
Yeah, Elizabeth Holloman is she's a fantastic lady. She does so much in helping people, and I met you through Elizabeth.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah, and how about your name, Yetunde? A lovely name. What does that mean?
Right. Yetunde means mother returns. It's a
Uh
Yoruba
huh.
Nigerian name. I was the first granddaughter that was born after my paternal grandmother passed.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the name Yetunde, and then my cousin, who is late, who came 5 months after me, got my
Mm,
grandmother's name.
yeah,
I
yeah.
got the birth name because already when they knew that they were carrying a baby, they already knew that if it was a girl, it was going to be Yetunde.
Oh, okay. Yeah, lovely. So, I'll make a smoothie from your book. It's on page 81,
Okay.
and it's called Fruity Kale.
Yes.
And it's apple, banana, pear, kale. But since I don't have kale, I'll use some spinach. Is that okay?
Yes, that's lovely. It's a leafy green. Any leafy green would take the place of kale. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because it's not the kale season.
Mm.
That's in winter. So I thought I'd rather have some fresh spinach. You don't get
Okay.
fresh kale at the moment, yeah. And then celery. I just
Yes.
love celery and some water. So that's what we will be preparing. But because that's an easy thing to prepare, which I'm happy about because I cannot work a lot with my hand. Yetunde, you were diagnosed with cancer in 2005.
Yes.
Um, so you go to a doctor and you do tests because you are unwell, and the results come out, and the doctor says you have cancer. What are your first thoughts?
Right. Um, I knew there was something wrong before I went to the doctor because it was a 5 centimeter lump. So, but I was praying that it would be an infection and not anything major than that. So I called the hospital. I called my GP to ask them for an appointment because it was summer. I had to wait
Mm-hmm.
for 2 weeks to see a female doctor because they were on holiday. Because
Yeah.
we have a surgery, a general practitioner. So I went to see the lady, and she was not very happy with what she saw. And she said to me, "I'm very worried. I'm sending you to the breast clinic." So we booked an appointment, another 2 weeks to go to the breast clinic. And when I went to the breast clinic, there were two of us in the room. My friend took me. They did a mammogram, and then we went into a room to have a biopsy done. And the lady came in, called somebody else, and eventually there were like seven of us in the room because they were not happy with what they saw. And they were trying to hide it from me, but I knew there was something wrong because I could see
Mm,
the photo. I knew there was something wrong, but you just hope and you pray that it's not going to be what it is. So I had a biopsy and I had to wait 9 days because it was a bank holiday for the results. We went back and it was the Nigerian doctor I saw, and he said to me, I used my married name then. He said, "Mrs. Daramala, I'm sorry, there's no other way I can tell you, but it looks bad and it is cancer.
oh, yeah.
And I don't know how this could have happened, how you could have missed it, and it was cancer." And then I was just looking at him, just staring at him. About the time it happened, the disaster in New Orleans had just happened a couple of days before that.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
we had to wait a long time in the waiting room. And a lot of people were complaining that we were being made to wait, even though they had apologized. And I sat down there and I was just thinking, whatever turns out, it's not going to be as bad as what those people are going through. That was how I was able to manage it. So
Mm,
as soon as
mm,
he said to me, "It's cancer, I have no other way to tell you. We're going to start treatment immediately. The nurse will come and talk to you." I shut down from that point. Every other thing they said
yeah.
after, all I said to him was, "I got three young children. The youngest is 3.5. He's got special health challenges." I just rolled that out to them. So they wrote it out on my file. And I closed up. It was my auntie who continued the conversation. So everything
Mm,
that
mm.
he said didn't make sense to me. She brought
Were
me home.
you, yeah, were you doing checkups before? These
I,
control checkups we do every 6 months.
right. I did not because I had a very busy lifestyle. I had just completed the postgraduate in education. So I was
Mm.
busy doing that. I did not in that year even check myself. Never
Oh,
once.
yeah.
I used to do that
Mm,
before, but I
mm,
never did in that year. So I found this lump through my bra, through my t-shirt. We didn't have to
mm.
go looking for it, but that was it. That was
You
it.
could
I
you could
thought it
really
was
see
there.
it.
I felt it. What had happened was because we had had a lot of problems with childcare over the years. At that time, I
Yeah.
had three children. I had 10, 6, and 3.5. And
Mm.
before that, I decided to leave my job in the civil service, which I'd done for 14 years, to train to be a teacher so I could have the holidays with them. Because we have
Okay.
lots of childcare problems on this side of the world. And
Mm.
I just finished
True.
the course. And so this Saturday, this was a Wednesday afternoon. I had a lie in, and I came
Yeah.
downstairs, and I sat in the living room with the children, and once looking forward to enjoying my first summer at home without
Mm.
having to worry about childcare. And there was a piece of white string on my t-shirt. And as I brushed it off, I thought, hang on a minute, what is this? I don't know what happened because I had a shower And because I always had eczema as a child, I put a lot of cream on my body. I take more
Mm,
time putting cream on my body to moisturize it. And I thought, what
mm,
is this? So I went to my bathroom and I took everything up and I looked and there was a big bruise there. So I called my prayer partner and I said, there's something not right. And she said, explain it to me. And I said, there's a bruise on my breast. And she said, it might just be an infection. I'll talk to my husband, call the doctor in one sentence.
mm,
So
mm,
when I'd finished all my treatment and the doctor was talking to me, he said to me, he was surprised about the way things happened because the only way that I could have missed it would have been if I had not had a bath in a year. And I said, that is not possible. But it might have been in my business, just go through things and just go through the motions. I don't know. So that was how it was. I didn't,
mm,
yeah. And it didn't, when they finished all the treatment, they told me that it did not tick any of the boxes that they usually say they have for cancer.
mm.
I did not
Okay,
tick
okay,
one
yeah.
single box. Yeah.
Mm. So you are just divorced and bringing up three children on your own, like you just said. So your youngest was 3.5 as you were diagnosed. So how did this condition affect your children? You were in and out of hospital. So were your children alone during this time? Was your family there for them?
Hmm. Right. Thank you for that question. It's amazing. I was not yet divorced at the time, but I was separated.
Okay, yeah.
I got the diagnosis result on the 5th of September, and my
Mm-hmm.
ex-husband had moved out on the 3rd of September.
Whoa.
So I'm the kind of person that once there's a problem, I go into solution mode. I didn't have time to worry about my husband left me. The first thing I did was I painted my kitchen, even though I was in a bit of pain. He left on the Saturday. I painted my kitchen on Sunday and I went to church and I told my pastor and the choir leader that this was the problem I had at the minute. They should just pray for
Mm,
me.
mm,
And then on Monday, we went for the diagnosis. So when I came in, a few of my family I had told them what was going on. So everybody was on standby. And even my ex sister-in-law, she was not an ex at the time, who is a consultant pediatrician outside where we live, quite far away from us. She called me
mm,
when I'd gotten over the first shock, and she said to me, "We need to get you a nanny." That's the first thing she said to me. She said, "Let me get you a nanny to look after the children. You look after yourself." So that
mm,
really gave me that strength. Then my older sister was in and out. I had a lot of friends around, but it was very hard
mm.
because the children were faced with a double whammy: dad leaving, mom being ill.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
one thing that got me into motion, that made me speak to myself, was I knew that I was not going to die. I kept on telling God, I'm a person of faith. I told him I can't die because I lost my mom when I was 14. And even though my dad was, and he's still a very hands-on dad, you miss having a mom. So I had
Mm,
this fear of, if anything happened to me, my children will be shipped off to Nigeria and my family will not see them anymore. So that kind of got me into survival mode. It was no
mm.
longer about me, it was not about my marriage, it was about those children, being
Yeah.
available, being around to see them grow up. So I had that contract with God. I used to tell him every day, I've got three young children. This was not our plan. I'm not going to die. So that kind of helped
Mm.
me to, yeah, that helped. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So your relatives were also helping you during that time. How did
And my
they
church
react
members.
to your when you were diagnosed? Because I know us Africans are strange in some ways. So you might have people who kind of think, oh, she has something infectious, or try wanting to have some distance from you. Did you have that?
I did. What happened was my older sister had been diagnosed with cancer had been treated for cancer 13 years before me. And my
Mm-hmm.
first cousin on my dad's side too had had cancer a couple of years before me. So the very close family members were familiar with that. But
Mm,
one thing I did
okay.
was I didn't tell everybody. Everybody had a role to play in my life at that time. Some
Mm.
people were just praying, and then all the people who were doctors in the family were involved in my treatment. So that gave me a
Yeah.
kind of peace. But I had a lot of friends who were local to me who did not come to see me, maybe because they were afraid, they didn't want to talk about it. But what I
Mm.
did first, before I told my friends, I had a very quiet time. I decided to look for how I was going to support myself first, because I'm the kind of person that a lot of people come to me for support. So I knew that
Mm.
if I told the people who could not handle it, I needed to be strong enough to be able to comfort them. I had
Oh
a double
yeah,
job
yeah.
to do. I remember
Mm.
that one of the things I heard when I was being quiet in God's presence, when I was telling him that this was not in the bargain, I
Mm.
remember being hearing clearly that this was not unto death, and
Mm.
also that it happened so that I could help other people. So I knew that I could have been the one talking to myself, it might have been God, but that was what I heard. So when
Yeah.
I started talking to my friends who were, deacons in the church, the first person I
Mm.
spoke to, she just broke down and she was crying. So I said to her, I said, you can't cry. I should be the one crying. I said, but
Mm.
do you know the scripture that says, except a seed fall to the ground and die, it brings, when it dies, it germinates fresher and newer, a new tree. And I said, that's
Yeah,
how I
yeah,
see myself.
yeah,
That
yeah.
season of my life had to
Mm.
end for me to be continue on my journey. And that was what helped me. But I had to
Mm.
educate a lot of people to say, cancer is not catching. They would come
Mm.
to the door, they will see me in the supermarket, and they will go about to another aisle. Very painful,
Wow.
but I had to educate
Mm.
them. I had to educate them. So
Yeah, yeah. It was not an easy thing. So, how long did you battle with the cancer? I mean, from the time you were diagnosed with cancer to the time you were told now or declared cancer free. How
yeah,
long was
I
that?
I was, well, when they say they keep watch for you for 10 years normally, but because mine did not follow any of the rules, I was going back
Mm,
for screening for 10 years. But I
mm,
had treatment from September 2005 when I was diagnosed, and I finished treatment in 2007.
okay, okay.
Yeah, so that was
So
when I was
about two
free
hours.
of, yeah, 2 years, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
And during these 2 years, you had not started with your what you call the healthy lifestyle.
no, I just continued my own thing. But um, uh, shortly after I started treatment, a lovely lady friend of mine came to visit me. She was Seventh-day Adventist. She's late now, and she said
Mm-hmm.
she read a book, The Hallelujah Diet, and she
Mm-hmm.
wanted to come. She wanted to move in with us to make sure that I was eating right. But when she
Okay.
mentioned the Hallelujah Diet and she mentioned raw foods, I thought about just eating raw potatoes. But because of what I was going through, I didn't think much of it. But she
Mm-hmm.
was not able to come and do what she wanted to do. But that set off something in my head. And what
Yeah.
happened was I was very, very tired, I could not do the simplest things.
Mm.
So in 2008, I was struggling with my weight because during the treatment, because of the risk of infection, I stayed at home a
Yeah.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
Only when I was very tired, and the surgery that I had limited me in a lot of things. So
Mm.
I was not very happy that even though I was feeling better, I wasn't better because I could not do a lot of things. I was waking up ready to go to bed again. We had a
Mm-hmm.
taxi that took the children to school. I had a lovely aunt of mine who would come and take my younger son to nursery. As soon as they leave the house, I go back to bed because I was tired. At 9 o'clock, I'm
Mm.
tired. And I would wake up at 3 o'clock, 3:30 to let them in. Then we didn't have a nanny. We didn't have a nanny anymore. And then by 5 p.m., I was in bed. So my children
Oh,
basically put
yeah.
me to sleep. I had a
Mm.
nurse who was coming in to look after my son over the years. So she would help to do a few things. And my
Mm.
friends would come, would make dinner. They would cook dinner for us, and my daughter would pick it up on her way home. People rally round. But I was not happy because I was not well. I was
Mm.
I was heavier than I was even before the cancer.
Okay.
And So in 2008, I was having a joke with my friends, and we are saying we wanted to get rid of the love handles. We all needed to go and find a way to lose this weight. So I
Yeah.
went to my doctor and I said to him that I was not happy about the way that I was. I was always tired, always in
Mm.
pain. And he said to me, Miss Damala, I'm so sorry. I can't tell you in any other way. You're going to be like this for life. You just have to get
Whoa.
used to it. So I said, oh, I said, Doctor, Dr. Toon, I'm going to have to get used to my sad, tired life. He said, I'm so
Mm.
sorry. I mean, there's nothing I can do. You just have to get help. So I came home and I knelt beside my bed and I cried my eyes out that this is me. I'm not a lazy person. I'm always
Mm.
busy doing things. I cater for weddings in addition to my full-time job, look
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
the house. It was a struggle. So I got up from my tears. That was the second time I had cried since I had been diagnosed with cancer. And
Mm.
I went on Facebook maybe the following day and I saw that there was a Nigerian lady who said she went from a size 20 to a size 14 on a raw food diet. She was not my friend. So I sent her
Mm.
an inbox message. Obviously, she didn't see the message because I was not her friend. And I went on her wall and I said, can you please check your inbox? And then she
Mm-hmm.
responded to me. I said, can I speak to you? And I called her and she said to me, yes, that she went on a raw food diet. So I asked, I said, do you eat Nigerian meals? Do you eat African meals? She said, yes. She said she did it on partly African diet as well. So I said, could you
Mm.
please mentor me? I'm in a desperate place. I've got to lose the weight. I've not been well. So she agreed to do that. I only had
Mm.
one mentoring session. It just did not work, but I gained a lot
Ah, okay.
from my telephone conversation with her. And then I went to do my own research on raw foods. I bought the
Mm.
Hallelujah Diet book. I looked at different books and then I adapted things to suit me.
Mm.
And that
So
was how I came.
yeah, you say adopting this healthy lifestyle has changed your life, and I read where you wrote that when you first took that green smoothie that that looked like I don't know, you felt like as if oxygen had entered your body.
Yes. What I did was I didn't have a recipe to go by. So I went to the shops and I knew she said a lot of things about the greens. The greens are better for you. So
Mm,
I bought kale, there was the green vegetables, there was celery, a lot of green things. It was very good. And then I added one or two apples to it and and an orange. And my older
mm,
daughter was off school that day. So I cleaned everything off, chopped it up, and put it into my regular blender. And when
yeah.
I finished blending it, it was so green. It looked so vile. It looked like spirogyra. I remember my biology class in school. I was like, what is this? But I was desperate. And I drank the
Yes.
first glass. It didn't taste very nice because there were too many greens in it. But when
Mm,
I finished my first glass, I felt like oxygen entered my body. So I told her, I said,
mm,
whether it's horrible or not, I'm going to finish this. So I had another glass and then I left it alone and I went away. And that was all I had that day. And I thought, this
mm.
is good. So I went to go and do some more research and then I found some balances to make it taste better.
So, in your book on page 34, you write that it's a matter of mind over matter. What do you
Yes.
mean? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what I meant by that was, we culturally, excuse me, we eat a lot of things that our parents taught us to eat, that our
Mm-hmm.
grandparents taught us to eat, and it becomes what we are used to. And when
Yeah.
I talk to people, they say to me, oh, my grandfather ate this and he lived to be 100. And I felt the same as well. So, for example, my surname means, Odebiyi means the child of a hunter. So
Mm-hmm.
my father loves his meat, my grandfather loves his meat. I come from a meat-eating family. And I knew that one of the problems that we could have was based on red meat. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
tell myself, I trained myself to just have one piece of red meat a week in addition to my healthier lifestyle. So I was not starving myself, denying myself of the things I like. I just reduced
Mm.
them. So that was
Okay.
once
Okay.
I've had my piece of red meat a week, I tell myself, child of a hunter or not, you've had your one piece of red meat, get on with the veg.
That's
So that
enough.
that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think it's possible to live on raw foods?
Right. What I it's some people do it, but I did not
Mm,
do that. I call myself a 75% raw fooder. So like my soups are in the book and a lot of the things that I cook, I don't
mm.
overcook them. I don't spend more than 10 minutes cooking anything I'm cooking. So it's not completely cooked, but it's healthy raw. So I
Ah,
did,
okay, okay.
so like this the
Yeah.
soup I would have loved you to make, if not for this your finger, was the
Yeah, I know.
sweet potato and chili soup, which you cook
Mm,
for about 10 minutes and then you blend. So it's
yeah.
raw. It's so what happens is when it's in that state, your body absorbs the nutrients you need in their near to raw
Mm,
state, and then your body passes out what it doesn't need. So I
mm.
do that. Obviously, if I'm cooking meat and fish, they have to be properly cooked. But the other things that help it on its way are the raw foods, the salads without too many seasoning or too
Mm.
many sauces. I make my own salad oil myself, kind
Okay,
of
okay,
control.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's not just raw
Mm.
food. No, not just raw food.
Yeah, they are amazing recipes. Yeah, I was actually supposed to do, like you said, I was supposed to do the carrot and butternut squash soup today,
Yes.
which is on page 85.
Yeah.
I will still do that, not today because I cannot cook much. It's there are so many things, and what I see is a lot of ingredients that we know from Africa. There's sweet potatoes, coconut, you have chilies, watermelon, pineapples. um were you like trying out these things and writing them down
Yeah.
because
That's
you wanted to write this book here? And people, if go to Amazon, you can buy Yetunde's book on Amazon. I've read it. I've tried out some of the recipes, not all, and I'm still trying because I, like I said on Sunday, on my Sunday breakfast show, I'm also on a journey now, and I am trying. Let me say I will, because this trying is living a, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. So I'm also on a journey, eating healthy foods, because I've been using food a lot. I abuse food, if one may say that. And when I'm stressed, I don't know if that was the case for you. When you eat because you want to bury some feelings, you want to not think about what is happening around you. Were you using food in that way before?
well, I couldn't use food because I think throughout the time that I had the treatment, I was in a state of shock. I was in shock for about 2 years. I just went through the motions. You wake up, you just continue the motion. So I didn't have much of an appetite. And also the fact that the chemotherapy affected my mouth as well. It affects your taste of smell, your sense of smell, and your sense of what is it now? Taste.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had my friends would come in and cook me things that I would not normally eat. So for example, in
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria, we have different soups from different parts.
Mm-hmm.
So I could not eat the things that we ate in the south. As in, I had to eat things that other people cooked and they couldn't cook in the house. So I'll probably just have one meal a day. For a very long time, I lost my appetite. I had to just eat to survive. So I
Okay,
didn't put
okay.
on the weight because of food. But then
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
in the past. Some, I mean, obviously, when my marriage was going through the zone ups and down, I would eat my food, clear up the children's plates when they don't finish their food. And sometimes there were times when
Mm,
I could not
yeah,
eat.
yeah.
So food was not such an issue for me. Like currently, I'm going through stuff and I've not been able to
Mm,
eat, but I've been able to. I just had a smoothie yesterday, and once I have a smoothie, I'm okay. I just tell myself that I don't really need to sit down and eat, but it happens when
mm,
we are unhappy. We
yeah,
either eat or we don't eat. And
true. Yeah.
I was looking when my doctor told me that I would be disabled for life. I got desperate. I needed to find a solution because I was not a lazy. I just could not imagine myself being disabled for life because it was a really bad place that I was in. I could not carry a
Mm,
newborn baby without sitting down. I could not do things for my children. It was a very bad, thing. So I actually went to look for an alternative without going on a diet because I know that diets
mm,
don't work.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I found that I could still enjoy the things I love eating
Mm.
and be healthy at the same time. So, for example, I was driving at that time for about, I've been driving for about 10 years or 15 years 10 years when I was ill. When I started going back driving, all the time I've
Mm.
been driving, every time I buy fuel, I always come out with a bar of chocolate. So you can imagine for 10
Ah, yeah.
years, and I
Mm.
buy petrol sometimes once a week, 3 times a week, depending on, and I would always come out with a bar of chocolate. I love my chocolates. But I also found that I could make my own sweets. So I make my own chocolates myself, which are healthier. And that for me was a reward. And even up until now, anytime I go to buy petrol and I come out of the petrol station, I give myself a pat on the back to say, oh, well done, you didn't
You
come out with
didn't take any
chocolate.
chocolate.
You know?
Yeah.
So, but because I had the alternative, but now I don't even mix it.
Yeah. So how do you make your own chocolate?
I
Mixing
use cacao and dates and almonds, and I blend. I use a food processor.
mm-hmm.
You've got some at the back of the book. I use a food processor to blend them together, and then I mold them. I call them chocolate bombs, and I mold them
Ah,
and put them
okay.
in the fridge.
Mm.
So those kind
Wow.
of things
Wow.
I found.
Yeah, raw
I
chocolate
know.
bombs.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
found,
on
yeah,
page
across snacks there. We
98.
also have chocolate ice cream, which is
Mm-hmm.
healthy, and it's not, and you got raw ice cream, you got crumbly nut squares, we got
Yeah,
goji
chocolate.
biscuits. So I
Wow.
also make carrot cakes that don't go in the oven, but that's not in the book. And it's
Mm,
amazing. It tastes the same and it's healthier.
wow. Yeah, people, you have to get this book. There are so many nice recipes. So after this time, you started eating healthy. You changed your diet. You said you were weighing 101 kgs
Yeah.
and you lost 21 kilos within 6 months.
Yes.
Wow. And this was due to diet, or were you also doing sports?
But I could not do sports because the surgery I had a mastectomy, had a mastectomy and had a reconstruction as well at the same time. So I
Uh-huh.
was limited in a lot of things that I could do because the whole surgery got infected. So
Uh-huh.
when I started getting better, I could not do anything, even walking, I could not do walking. So I didn't
Uh,
do any exercise at that time because the doctor had said to me that I needed to let them know everything I was doing. I just focused on the food and
uh-huh.
I started drinking lots of water. I changed a lot of things. I went cold turkey. So I would wake up in the morning, have a cup of warm water with lemon, 2 cups of warm water with lemon. And about 9 o'clock, I'd make a smoothie. At about 11 o'clock, I'll make a liner. At 1 o'clock, I'd have a salad or a soup for lunch. And then in the evening, I'd have a soup for my dinner or one particular Nigerian meal. So
Uh,
I found out that within 2 weeks of me having these juices and cutting off bread and all the things that were convenient for us, that were not so good for us,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
went, yeah, I went up and down the stairs in one. I went up and I came down. I actually
Mm.
ran up the stairs, and my daughter said to me, "Mom, what did you do?" I said, "I went up the
Within
stairs."
one
She said,
week.
"Yes,
Within one
within
week.
a week, within
Wow.
a week, yes, I went up."
Wow.
And I came down. And
Mm.
normally, what had happened over the years was they would be the ones going upstairs to do things for me. I only came down once and I only went back
Mm.
upstairs to go to bed. Or if I went upstairs in the middle of the day, I would sit in my room for about an hour or two before I had the energy to come downstairs anymore.
Wow.
So I
So that
did that
means,
without,
yeah, you went down and then you were sending your kids up and
oh,
down
yes,
to.
oh, yeah. God gave me
Mm.
children to send them on errands.
Oh, oh.
Within a week that happened because within that week I'd lost 2 pounds. But I didn't think anything about it. I was just consistent. And I
Mm.
was recording because one of the books I read said I should journal what I eat. So I did the 7 day lunch, and the 7 day lunch gave me the 2 pound a week less result. So I continued repeating that 7 day lunch. It became a way of life. I just
Mm.
added a bit of my Nigerian meal. So for example, if I was cooking beans, I would remove my beans from the pot, bland, and I would cook for the children with the sauces and the palm oil and everything. If I was
Mm,
making ewedu, which is molokai in Egypt, is a green vegetable, I would
mm-hmm,
blend mine and my lady fingers, the okra. I would wash and I would blend it with hot water, and that was
mm-hmm.
mine. And then for the kids, I would cook it the normal way. So
Ah,
that
okay,
helped me.
okay.
So I just adapted the way that I cooked my meals, and it
Mm.
really
And
helped.
you were so disciplined that you did not eat the food you were cooking for the children.
I did
You
not. I
just
was
ate.
desperate. I was desperate because you see what happened as well was they went to church on a Sunday. The church boss used to come to take my kids to church with our nanny. And I
Mm,
felt better a bit in myself because I couldn't go to church. So I felt better. So I came downstairs and I wanted to make them a roast dinner. Nothing goes into a roast dinner. You don't do much apart from peel the potatoes, clean the meat and season it and put it in the oven.
mm.
I could not peel one potato. I had to leave
Oh.
the peeler and the potato there. I cried and I went upstairs. I was tired. So
Mm,
I was desperate for something to help me to get my life back. And I thought, well, if this lady did this, maybe, just maybe, this will
mm.
help me. And when you're desperate, you'll do anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then what I also find funny, on page 16, you talk about body odor. um,
Yes. Uh,
that
right.
it is it is caused by eating a lot of meat and
Yes.
carbohydrates.
Yeah. Yes, I found that that didn't apply to me because I'm happy to say that my daughter says I'm one of the few people who to exercise and I don't come back smelling. I come out fresher. Um,
Mm,
so one of the things I found out in my research was when we eat a lot of carbohydrates, we Africans, we eat a lot of carbohydrates and we eat a lot
mm,
of meat because it's
yeah.
to the African when you're eating you show your state of affluence by the number of pieces of meat on your plate, which could be all the
Yes.
parts of of this beef.
Mm,
And I found out that a lot of people, because they don't have enough fresh grains to pass the carbohydrates and the beef out of their system, it turns out to be body odor. For some people, it's a medical condition, but for
mm-hmm.
some people, if they just change the way that they eat, it will help. So, for example, um, bacon, for example, is not one of the meats that our body can digest easily. So it
It's
takes
lots of
3 months.
fat.
Yeah, it takes 3 months for a piece of bacon to pass it through your body. So you
Three
can
months.
imagine, yeah, you can imagine if you're eating bacon, you're eating different types of beef, but you're not eating raw vegetables. And the way we cook, the pig is already dead. Then we fry the bacon, we kill it the more, and then we eat it, and it's in our body for so long. So tell me, why would so those are the kind of things, and I mean no disrespect to those who eat it. It's their choice.
Mm. So what
But
you're saying is you
yeah,
can eat meat, but you combine it with vegetables for the body
yes,
to process it better.
yes. Because what happens is
Okay.
normally we eat a lot of flour-based products. Like we eat a lot of bread in the morning
Mm,
for breakfast, and then in the afternoon we take a sandwich to work. Then we come home and eat a carbohydrate with hardly any vegetable, day in, day
mm,
out. Because one of the things I found out was when I stopped eating bread, which was a real battle for me. I had to
mm.
tell myself because it's so easy to make a slice of toast and get on with
It's
your
easy.
day.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
easy. And that's what we've been doing over the years. I found out when I stopped doing all that, I felt lighter and I did not miss it. I went cold talking on a lot of things, and then I found alternatives. So if I wanted to make myself
Mm,
a pancake, I would use oatmeal, oat flour,
mm-hmm.
Quaker oat.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
blend it and I'll make my pancake.
yeah.
So I found an alternative to the things that I like.
So
But I
it will
was
get a bit
able.
loud now. Yeah, just
Okay,
a minute.
okay.
Ah, yeah. That looks good. Yeah.
Oh,
So
awesome. Yeah,
easy to make, and that is a
did.
thing. healthy foods are not, it's not a lot of work. Of course, you have to buy them, you have to slice them, you have to wash them, but you see, in in some seconds, it's done. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, and the good thing is when you combine, I think when you combine vegetables and fruits, that's also something that children like eating,
Yes.
because yeah, mine do eat that too. So I interrupted you. You were.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the combination of the foods, and
Yeah, yeah.
no, it's a that's why I said it was a matter of mind over matter. And then
Mm-hmm.
also the fact that we obviously, and also if I look at an average person, which was how I used to, what my life was before I had the
Mm,
cancer,
mm,
I would eat and I would have fizzy drinks. I would not drink enough water. So water was
yeah.
something else that's actually very good, that helps with the body to eliminate waste.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also the type of clothes that we wear, very important as well. So I had time to do a lot of research and
Yeah.
see how things were. Yeah, oh, that looks lovely.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's also because of the banana and the.
Yes, it makes it
Yeah,
creamy.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that is. Thank you, Yetunde, for this.
You're very welcome. I have
Mm,
to talk about a bit about the journaling bit of it.
wow. Yeah.
Because I couldn't do a lot of things, I used to
Mm,
document everything I did. So on my kitchen calendar, I was writing what I had throughout the day.
okay. Okay.
And then in the process of my journey, I met
Mm,
Elizabeth Holloman, because I cannot do but talk about Elizabeth.
mm,
And I said to her, this has been my journey, because I used to post a lot on Facebook and she was following through.
mm,
And one day she said to me, Yetunde, you need to put this in a book. And I said, no, I'm not going to do this. She said, well, you are keeping records. So what happened was I started writing out the things that were on my kitchen table, my weight
mm,
loss, started writing about it for a few
yeah.
years. And then at the end of 2000 and in the middle of 2014, she said to me, enough writing. You need to publish this book. Stop
Mm.
writing, publish the book. And she said to me one day, she said, if you don't publish that book, God will hold you accountable for those who needed the book. So I thought, oh, where God is concerned, yes, ma'am.
I don't need this punishment.
No, so I went ahead and
I
I
think
was
she
able to
knew
put
how
it
to get you.
yeah, she got me. And the book came
Yeah.
out. The book came out.
Wow. So you are, and it's a good thing you wrote this book, because I think it will help many people. It has helped me when I read through. It's something I really want to do. I'm not so disciplined when it comes to writing what I eat, because for me it's a bit difficult, or maybe I say it's difficult when I'm cooking here for the guests. I tend to taste like everything. So I will be disciplined on that. Um, but I have another question. You are working as a teacher in the UK where you live. So, but you stopped that in May of this year.
Yeah.
So during your whole cancer period, after you got well, you went back to being a teacher again.
Right. That's actually interesting. That story is a bittersweet story, because I'd left my job to train to be a teacher, and I finished my teacher training at the end of July
Yeah.
2005. I was supposed to start teaching on the 5th of September, but instead I went for the cancer diagnosis. So I was not able to do my induction year. And when I started applying for jobs in 2007, I could not get a job, because I had, for safety purposes, you need to say what happened in the time you were not working. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say to them I had breast cancer and I would not get the job, maybe because they felt I would always be falling ill. I
That's
wrote
true. Yeah.
150 applications and I didn't get a job. But about 50 of those applications always called me back to be a substitute teacher. I was not good
Mm-hmm.
enough to be a full-time teacher, but I was good enough
Yeah.
to be a substitute teacher. So I did substitute teaching for a while before I went into health and wellness, and I also trained adults as well. So I
Mm.
was working from home, and then in 2005, in 2000 and what's it now? 2018, I got a job teaching adults with learning disabilities and a bit of forensic elements. So we're teaching as well as supporting them to access the community. 5 minutes from my
Mm-hmm.
house. But
Yeah.
because I needed to do something to show my children that I was going out to work, even though I'd always worked from
Mm.
home. I've always run my own
Yeah.
part-time business from home. So I did
Yeah.
this for 2 years, but it was a very dangerous job because people that I supported had been in prison, some for murder. It was dangerous. So when you're
Oh.
going to work every day, I'm praying Psalm 91, and you always
Mm.
have to have a change of clothing in your car because when they attack you, they do a lot of damage. But I was lucky because my employers understood my health history. So I was
Mm.
working with those who were not so challenging. They would be verbally abusive, but not physically. My
Ah,
colleagues would
okay.
always
Yeah.
watch out for me. And then in October, I hurt myself at work, nothing to do with the people we were supporting. I walked into a pillar, so I hurt
Mm.
my back and my tailbone was very sore. So I was taking off working with them at all. I went started working in
Mm-hmm.
the office. And
Mm-hmm.
then, but occupational health, we're trying to find something else for me to do. And
Mm-hmm.
then came along COVID-19. And then I started looking for things to do at work. But I was in on the premises, which meant I was at risk of being hit if anything happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
So occupational health offered me options of going to work 2 hours drive away from home. And I could not do that because this job was only 5 minutes away from the house. If the children needed me, I would be at home in 5 minutes.
Mm.
So I decided, and also with COVID-19, the gentlemen we're supporting didn't understand what COVID-19 was because they've got mental
Mm.
health challenges. They didn't understand that you need to have your social distancing, you can't go everywhere. So they became more violent. So I
Mm-hmm.
decided that I was going to leave. So when I was offered an option by my employers on the 19th of May, they said, do you want to work and continue working your notice, or do you want to leave now and we will pay you? So I took the option of leaving now and letting them pay me because the health awareness business that I run, I sometimes get paid more in a week than what I get paid in a month. And I thought that I had to leave to be safe. So I
Mm.
left the same day and I was given a send-off gift and and I was paid the following month. So I'm working from home full time now. It's safer for me, safer for the children, and
Mm.
and safer for me really because we don't know what this thing that we are faced with, what it
Yeah.
can do. So
Yeah.
we just
Yeah. That's true. That's true. So
so
you now in an organization helping people who are going through tough times. How do you do that? Is that something you organize, or is it an organization that existed that you joined?
right. So I do two things. On the one side, I
Mm-hmm.
do health and wellness. And on the
Mm-hmm.
other side, I am a community ambassador. So on the health and wellness, I look at
Mm.
different products that can help people. So
Yeah. Yeah.
currently, apart from the raw juicing, I'm also part of a company that produces seed-based nutrition products, which are very good for
Mm-hmm.
us, for the immune system. I've been with them for 2 years now, 2 years and a few
Okay.
months. And I use the
Okay.
products in addition to my book. And then
Mm-hmm.
on the other side, I have a community organization which was put together with myself and a very good friend of mine in Nigeria. We call that
Mm.
organization Ishedalewa. It's called our heritage. And what it
Mm-hmm.
does is it promotes and it teaches and preserves the African cultural heritage, especially for those of
Wow.
us who are raising children in the diaspora. So under
Mm.
that umbrella, everything we do, the health and wellness, the community initiative, supporting people going through challenging times. We have
Mm.
a mentorship program. We have a counseling program because a lot of our youth are going through so much. So what we've
Mm.
done now is we put everything together. So under this umbrella, we do health and wellness, we do mentorship,
Mm.
we help the elderly. We're currently rolling out a fitness program on Zoom once a week for people over 50
Okay.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
eliminate isolation and reduce
Mm.
loneliness. But because we're doing it on Zoom now, we've been told
Mm.
to invite everybody to join us. So it's just
Wow.
using, and
Yeah.
also I volunteer for Macmillan Cancer Trust and also for breast cancer. We are
Mm.
actually take part on patient participation meetings, so they want
Mm.
to know how it is. Especially for those of us from Africa, we don't want anybody to know what is wrong with us. But I'm very
That's
vocal
true.
about my
Mm.
journey with the divorce. I'm not
Mm.
ashamed to say that I'm an independent parenter because I came out a better person. And I'm
mm,
very good friends with my ex-husband. If I call him to do things for the children, he will answer me. So I'm happy with that. And that alone has made me a better person and being able to
mm,
help other people through my journey. We're currently supporting young boys who, in conversations with their mothers, are saying they have no one to talk to in these COVID times. The
mm.
dads are absent and the boys have no one to talk to. They can't go out to go and see their friends because they are
Yeah,
afraid
yeah.
of problems with the
Mm,
police. And it's a
mm.
lot is going on. So our organization helps to support people in this area.
Oh, that's an amazing job you're doing. So, we have to go now. But one
Okay.
thing, what is the one advice you'd give people like me and many others who are going through, these weight issues? What is the most important thing they when they want to start? Because I think that's mostly the problem. When you're into it, I think it's easier, but the beginning is always a tough one.
My advice would be you are number one, and every day is a new day. So what I do is I run my week on a Monday, on a Sunday to Saturday cycle. So
Mm-hmm.
if I don't do the right thing on a particular day, I start again the next day. You do what works for you. You need to
Mm,
find out what you enjoy eating
mm.
and try to make it healthier. Don't start something new. Start from your familiar tastes. That's a
Okay,
very good
okay.
starting point. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Yetunde, for this time. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
this insight. You are a strong woman, a woman. We can learn a lot from you. Having gone through all this and still standing and helping other people. Thank you for what you're doing. I am so happy we got this time. Like I said, I've been looking forward to having a chat with you, and I think many of us have learned from your experience. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. See you next Tuesday on Let Me Cook Your Dish. Stay safe and eat healthy.
Thank you
And
very much.
this book, you can buy it on Amazon. It has very, very, very interesting, healthy, the interesting story Yetunde tells, and also healthy recipes to start your journey. Bye bye for now. Bye, Yetunde.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Yeah.